Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to SevTech Ages. So I've been busy since last episode. Actually, a lot of it's been AFK time. Just letting the cobblestone run. But over here, I have most everything that we need for our creative fluid tank. And minus just 3 things on each corner, which we're about to get those knocked out here in just a second. Over here, this has been running steadily, and we are currently up to 77. 6 times compressed cobblestone. So we only need 4 more and we'll be done. And there's enough cobblestone, like I've actually shut off these cables a bit back. You can see, well, right here, you can see it's no longer extracting from that. We have 73,000 built up in here. The reason I have that shut off is because if you take a look inside of these, I've got like 2.5 million cobblestone in each of these. So these are just steadily kicking away. We're actually probably going to speed those up here in just a second. It's probably going to halfway kill the server. But nobody else is on right now, so I don't mind. And we shouldn't have to run it for too long, I shouldn't think. But anyways, I've had this running. I've actually got 4 quantum compressors here doing the 1 times compressed, and then everything else is pretty much the exact same as we set up last episode. So this is 3 out of 9. It's not too bad. So anyways, back here, I've been making processors. I'm working up some logic processors right now, which this is actually probably enough, I think. I've also got some buckets running, and I'm going to take you out here in just a minute. I'm going to take you to some of the places where the builder's been running. I think I've moved it 5 times so far, which has been a little bit overkill. As you can tell, I've got like 2.5 to 3 million in each compressor, and it doesn't need nearly that much cobblestone to finish out. So, wait, why do I just have? That must still be running because it should have made 2 stacks. I've been running through a lot of buckets for all the stuff that we need for the, oh yeah, it's still making buckets. It's taken quite a few buckets, quite a few buckets to craft everything that we need for the creative fluid tank. But anyways, one of the things that we're going to need, if we take a look at, fluid, we need to make 4 of the 512K fluid storage disks. And so we're going to have to make 64K fluid storage parts, and we are going to need, let me just dump that and that. This is like the last big burst of buckets that we need. So it's going to be, what, 27 per 512? So what, 108 altogether? 108 of these 64Ks. And then we should have, like I said, I should have everything set up for this. Should. So then we're going to need 128K fluid storage parts. So, bam, there's 28. I don't have enough buckets. Really? I'm already out of buckets? Are you serious? Oh my gosh. Okay, let me go. That's fine. I mean, I've got the buckets running. I'm going to go ahead and just make another stack of buckets. I don't think I'm going to need another stack. I think I just need, like, what it's processing right now, roughly. It might be a few more, because I just made 2 stacks of buckets. But there's actually probably, yeah, there's a lot of iron still in here, but whatever. We're going to throw this stuff in there. Can't have too many buckets. Yeah, we actually don't need that too many of these. Well, while we're waiting for those buckets to get done, let's pop down here. I have made another seed. I don't have it plugged up to any kind of automation because there's not really any point to doing so. But 2 of the items that we have left, the only thing that we need is this one thing. That is water essence. And actually, I've got plenty of it. I'm going to switch back to my steel seeds. Even though at this point, I actually don't need anything. I don't need, like, anything except for that cobblestone to finish, really, at this point. Alright, so what I need from this is... let me actually go ahead and just get 36. Okay, great. So, that's done. Then we should have to upgrade them, so I'm going to need some more buckets before we do that. I'll go ahead and toss that into there. If we take a look at the creative fluid tank, what we need is these theoretical infinite water sources. We need 4 of these, which let me get, oh, I don't have any, I'll have to get a few of these. I'll just get a stack, because why not? And then we'll just get a stack of the base essence ingots, there we go. And then our theoretical water, infinite water sources. And we need 4 of these that actually go into the craft itself. So if we take a look here, they go right there next to the solid lava. Most of this stuff is all like super self-explanatory to make. I mean, you do a little bit of abyssal craft. You did singularity tanks, basic fluid tanks, blood tanks, tier 1 or tier 10s. I'll talk about those in just a second. Ender buckets, sponges, singularity tank. I mean, it's all pretty basic stuff. Black hole tanks. I had to make some more machine frames. There's our other 4 pieces of enhanced Galgadori, and for the most part, this wasn't too bad to make. But I will say that if I hadn't set up the blood magic infrastructure that we set up forever ago, we would have struggled with this craft, and I'll talk about that here in just a second. Then we're also going to need 4 more theoretical infinite water sources, and that's what all this junk here is for. All this empowered pallies, crystals, electric pumps, water sigils, fluid pumps. We need to make infinite water sources from overloaded. So let's go ahead and just get 4 of these. And I will say these are probably one of the more expensive things for this craft, in truth. There we go. And I'm actually just using the water sigil that I had. I had 1 that I was using, and then I just made 3 more. Because we don't really need it at this point, I don't feel like. And these go right there, correct? Yes, okay. Those are probably the most expensive part out of all this, aside from the ultimate catalyst. Honestly, I feel like they're a little bit more expensive than the well, not really. But, I don't know, it took more effort on my part than the singularities did. Crafting these. Because basically just because I haven't automated empowering. So I actually had to go sit there, and I was just editing some footage, so it wasn't a big deal. But anyways, the blood tank tier 10s. These are expensive-ish. They take a lot of blank runes, large bloodstone tiles, and you have to tier them up bit by bit, and you had to get 4 of those things. Now, I've actually got some blank runes left. 343 of them, to be exact. Now, if we pop over to here, and we pop down to the blood magic area, basically what I did was I just took our drawer here. I just picked it up with a dolly, moved it, and set it up over at our refined storage system. And why does it just have 1 blank slate now? Okay, it's just a bug. I was like, wait a second. Right now it's repairing, it's healing from what I was doing. It had like 630 something stacks in there roughly. Is where we had it, kind of the redstone shut it off. Which it's running right now. We've got the stone. I mean, the stone's not, well, we've got 31,000 stone left, but we are getting stone, you know, naturally coming in. I used like all 630 something stacks, and you can see the blank runes that I have left is pretty much the leftovers from crafting all of this. It was very expensive. It was like 600 and some stacks of blank slates, but luckily I kind of knew about that ahead of time. That's why we set up the blank slate automation back when we did, so that we would just have those ready to go. So it really wasn't too bad. But if you didn't automate blank slates and you just came across it like all of a sudden, that would be kind of painful, because it does take a lot of blank slates. But I mean, blank slates are quick with our setup over here. You know, I never ended up upgrading these to tier 6, just because there was never really a reason to, I guess. Because by the time the tier 6 actually came out in update, we were like past blood magic, and everything was pretty well set up, so I just never even bothered with it. But if you're going through the pack for like the first time, it's really good that it's there, you know. So anyways, we just need the 512 fluid storage discs at this point. Woot woot. And let's go grab what buckets we've got. It should be plenty. 26, that should be... Oh, that should be enough, because it's only 1 per disc. It does add up. I mean, you use a lot of buckets, but that's okay. So we're going to upgrade these to 256. And... Oh, we're missing logic processors? Okay, I've got more. That's fine. There we go. And there's 12 of those. And then we just have to upgrade them one last time to 512 storage parts. This craft here actually didn't take that long. It took about, you know, because we got full acceleration cards in here. It took maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes to run that stuff through. I've got a hopper, an upper. Then I just feed the stuff in. Then I just manually pull it out. So I needed, it was like 140, I want to say it was 144 of the calculation processors. That was probably the worst part, just because it was a lot of processors. But after, you know, other than that, it wasn't too bad. And then we just have to turn them into storage disks. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that should be everything that we need for this guy. That should be the creative fluid tank. So let's go ahead and compact it. I mean, you can see right there, that's what all it took. 4 sponges, 4 theoretical infinite water sources, 8 insanium ingots, 4 black hole tanks, 4 runes of augmented capacity, 4 dynamic valves from Mechanism, super cheap, 4 glass singularities, paperclip singularity, 4 fluid readers, 8 ultimate catalysts, 4 singularity tanks, 4 enhanced Galgadorian, 4 solid lava, 4 512K fluid storage discs, 4 basic fluid tanks. Not even like the upgraded ones, just basic. It's crazy. 4 ender buckets, 4 infinite water sources, 4 XP drain singularity tanks, and 4 blood tank tier 10s. Probably being the most expensive part, I would say. Even above the ultimate ingots and stuff. I would say that's probably the biggest, and I think if you weren't planning ahead and you didn't have that stuff automated, that would be like the biggest shock point. Like, oh my gosh, I need 4 of these things because it's so many blank slates. But luckily, we thought ahead all the way back in, I don't know, age 2 or age 3 or something, and we've had enough blank slates since like age 3 to do that. So it wasn't too big of an ordeal, to say the least. And shift click, there we go, creative fluid tank. Dun, dun, dun. And 200 prestige points, and there we go, creative fluid tank. And we'll just set this down right there just so it looks pretty. Alright, now this thing. We need to deal with this because I still need the 4 more 6 times compressed cobblestone, which really that would only take about maybe 2 hours. It's about a 6 times compressed. That's about every 40 minutes or something. I don't know. I've been getting like it's been a few days since the last recording, and I've been getting a little over 20 6 times compressed cobble every day. So I mean, it hasn't been too bad because I just basically I'll pop on, I'll move the builder, and then I'll let it run, and then I'll get back on, I'll move the builder, and I'll let it run, and so on. So you know, I tended to move the builder like twice a day, roughly. So it wasn't all that bad. But what we're going to do to actually speed this up, this should work. If it doesn't, don't kill me, but it should work. I haven't tested it, but it's just something. We're going to give it a shot. So, right over here, we're going to set up a ritual anchor. If you recall, we covered these a while back when we were doing some Astral Sorcery stuff, and I'm thinking that, let's see, where do I want to put this? I think if I put it like right here, I think it should affect, I'm hoping it'll affect these 4 and this one. So this one will be able to keep up, but we'll find out. And then in here, I have a Celestial Crystal right here that's attuned to Heraldium. The constellation of Heraldium. And that's what we're going to be using. We're going to try to use Heraldium to boost the speed of our compressors. So I'm hoping that this will work nicely for us. Let me go ahead and pull up our lenses. And then we're going to have to change over our collector crystal. This is Heraldium for the collector crystal. So we'll just put that down right there. And that should be good. And then we're just going to link this over to our ritual pedestal. There we go. And you can see it kind of shoots off a beam there. And so what we're going to do... I always hate setting these. And we're going to put a lens right there. Find that over to there. And... okay, we got another one right over here. And I would have done this sooner, but since this breaks every reset, I was just like, eh. I'll just wait till we have a lot of cobblestone built up in there and use it for like the last, you know, kind of like the getting the cobblestone over the finish line kind of a thing. Okay, and you can see Heraldium has now appeared underneath our ritual pedestal. Great. Okay, and then we need to bind this, our ritual anchor, we need to bind it over to our ritual anchor that's up here. So, I want it to connect to there. And now if we take a look here, I mean, these are like murdering the cobblestone, and this is, yeah, I mean, this is kicking them out quick, I feel like. Yeah, because I'm getting 2 times in, like, super fast. Okay, so yeah, that's working, actually, because you can see the little blue particles coming off of all of this. Yeah, blue particles all the way down through here, so it is working. It is working, and that's great. So we should be able to get our last 4 6 times compressed decently fast. I mean, it's still going to take probably, I don't know, an hour or something, but it should be a bit faster than it was. Because the Heraldium ritual will boost the speed by quite a bit. Yeah, that's kicking out 2 times compressed cobblestone like it's going out of style. So, I mean, look at this. Like, meow. It's pretty fast. And then this one is, yeah, it's getting through it. Okay, but we're going to let that run for a bit, and hopefully, well, towards the end of the episode, we will get the creative compressor done. And actually, these 3 obsidian chests can go because we will not need them for anything else. Because at this point, the only item that we're working towards as far as creative items is the air compressor. That's it. And then we have to get the Mars Rover. And that's all the advancements. We're going to finish them in this episode. So, yay. Big excitement moment. Okay, now one thing I want to show you guys. The builder's set up over there now. It's a little bit past Wega's base is where it's set up. It's not actually quarrying like near his area, but it's the builder itself is set up. I mean, you can technically leave. I could leave the builder like at our base all the time, and that would be fine, but I like moving it around. So, I've got to try to remember where this is. It's like over in here-ish. Actually, right here. I still have the marker. So I had the builder set up here, and I ran a couple rounds. This was like one of the last ones that I did. But if you look out, it's actually kind of funny. If you look out, like, right over here, like, look at the ocean. Where all the cobblestone is gone. It's actually kind of funny. And even better, if you pop over here, like, look at this. This is what happens when you run a quarry and remove all the stone from the world. Which this pack actually has, like, a ton of marble and limestone. Andesite and everything. So, I mean, there's still a lot of blocks here, but as you get deeper into the world, like, look at this. It almost feels like a different planet or something. So I figured I'd show it to you guys. I mean, there's a lot of ores down here. There's azurite. I mean, I saw a bunch of ore deposits down in these things, but, I mean, I don't need them. I'm not going to mine them. It's not even worth taking the pick and vein mining it, really. But anyways, I wanted to show that to you guys because I thought it was kind of cool myself. But anyways, let's pop back over. I'm gonna head to Mars, and I'll bring you guys back when I finally find one. But I have to go see if I can find a Mars Rover schematic, so that we can make the Mars Rover, because that's the only other non-creative item, the only other advancement that we're working towards that's not tied to this. So it's still going to take a little while for this to run, but actually not too bad, because it took me like 5 minutes to go out and show you that, and it's already built up another 4 times. So okay, so awesome news, actually. The very first dungeon that I did today, I came out and pow, there's our Mars Rover schematic. So we got that. That is done. It was the very first dungeon. I actually had to come out a decent ways. Like, if we take a look here, of course, I was just flying around. You can see it's not really loaded all the chunks because I was flying so fast. But there's nobody else on the server, so I was like, well, whatever. So we're out here, and I came up. You can see this little, like, trail that I made down through here. And, like, right in... maybe right there is where we spawn in at. Yeah, I think it's like right in there is where we spawn. I would assume so, but I had to come out a decent ways from where we spawn in at. So anyways, we are primed and ready to get that advancement knocked out now. I'm actually really... where did I go? This is not where I meant to go. I want to head to the RS system, not Neptune. But thanks, though. Okay, so let's go ahead and unlock our Mars Rover schematic. And, oh, there it was. Okay, so what all do we need for this? I have a feeling it's going to be decently cheap. We're going to need Tier 2 heavy-duty plates, which is pretty easy. Tier 1 wheels, which is more heavy-duty Tier 2 plates. Some compressed steel and some leather. We're going to need 6 of those. Which, by the way, TPS is kind of... It's kind of dead right now. Because of a combination, I think, of my translocators and the Heraldium The Heraldium just kills the server, so that's why I'm glad nobody's on right now, basically. And then we're going to need this seat, which is iron and steel. There we go. And then I need those tier 2 plates. I need a bunch of them. And I've got 140 tier 1s, so that's actually not too bad. We can knock this out really, really quick. Look at that. That's great. And we're actually going to need the ore dictionificator right here because to make the battery, you actually have to have lead from extra planets. So we're going to say ingot lead, and we're going to do the Galacticraft planets lead ingot and save. And then we could just dump that into there, and pow, there's that. Because it doesn't work with the other types of lead. So now if we take a look at the Mars rover, we should be able to get our battery. Oh, I need one more piece of lead. Okay. And how's this going? This should be... yeah, it's done. Okay. There we go. There's our tier 1 battery. And then we mainly just have to upgrade the tires and then make it. So if we take a look at the tier 1 wheels... I'll just dump that into there, dump that into there. Okay, so give me 1, 2, 3. These things don't stack. I hate things that don't stack. So there's our 6 tires, and we should be all set to make this thing and get this advancement knocked out. What? Okay, let me see. Is it a different tire? No, it's just tier 1 wheels. They just don't shift click in for some reason. Okay. Anyways, there we go. There is our Mars rover. And advancement roving around. Okay, so we are literally one advancement from being done, which is basically... we're basically just a little bit of cobblestone. Compression, not even the cobblestone itself. We're just waiting on the compression. And then this will be done. So I'll be back once this is done. I mean, it's going to be... It'll be a little while. It's not a super amount of time, but... I'll be back here in a bit. Okay, it has been a little bit. It's actually... the Heraldium ritual has stopped. Because there was a server restart. But I was actually recording the server tour, like server bases... the final one of those, and the final base tour. So whenever you're watching those next 2 videos, it'll be coming out. Just bear in mind that I don't, at the time, I do not have the advancement for the creative air compressor, but we're about to get it. Our cobblestone is done. We are actually probably, well, about halfway up to the next one, but I don't need any of this stuff anymore, so we'll just pull that up. There we go. And then we're going to take our quantum compressor, and we're going to plug this into some power, like right there will be great. And the rest of this we can just do manual. No, we check that. We take our 6 times, let me see, the compressed, the 8 times, I think it just keeps taking the same catalyst. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to drop that in there, and pow, it's going to take a second to craft. We should have to give that a second to craft up the next tier, which is the 7 times compressed cobble. But luckily we only need 9 of these, so it's not too bad. We're up to 3 already. And it's crazy because this is going to be the 100% mark. We're going to have a 100% of the advancements within SevTech. And actually some of the ones that we've gotten have gotten easier since we got them. Like the Journey Map token has gotten quite a bit easier since back when we did it. It's like laughably easy at this point with the changes they made to that. Which was kind of a disappointment, I think, to me. Because it was like the only thing that forced you to actually immerse yourself in the Between Lands. And they were like, well, let's actually remove that immersion part. And now you can just pop in there. Like, way quick. Okay, so there's 9 of those, and we'll toss them in, and let that craft up our 8 times compressed cobblestone, and we'll get our final creative item. I'm so ready for this. I've been ready for this for so long. Like, just to be done with this. Okay, now these have, like, 2 million cobble. I'm just going to break them because I don't care. Because we need our quantum compressors back. And I don't mind a few million cobblestone, it don't matter. And then these will go right there. 8 times compressed cobble will go right there. Let me dump this stuff into there. Okay, let's compact this. And here we go, the final thing. Creative compressor. Shift click, and there it is. That's done. 100%. We got 200 prestige points and the creative air compressor advancement. Look at that. And that is 100% all the way done with everything. Best age in the pack. Age 1 and Age Tutorial. Best ages. Even the Between Lands, 100% done. And Twilight Forest technically is 100% done. That one bugged and never unlocked. I actually killed the ghast again. It still didn't unlock. And then these two are not yet implemented. But 100%. 100%. And our creative air compressor, we'll just put it down right there. Look at that. And that's it. I mean, that's it for SevTech. We are 100% done, and that's the end. Okay, just a really quick update. I was looking around. I don't think the prestige system has been implemented yet. So we've earned all the possible prestige points, but there's nothing to actually spend them on yet. I think that's planned for a future update, if we ever even see it released. I'm not for sure. Hopefully, but I know he's been working on the new Sky Factory, so you know, I'm not going to hold my breath on it. But I just wanted to update you guys because I was planning on showing the prestige system this episode, but it doesn't seem to be implemented as of yet. I can't find anything on it, and I started a new game and stuff, and I mean, there's no prestige menu or anything like that. So, anyways, just a quick update on that because I didn't want you to think I'd forgotten about it. It just doesn't seem to be a thing at the moment. And a couple quick closing thoughts on the pack. I really enjoyed it overall. I mean, I think it was a pretty good pack. However, and I know I'll talk about this in a couple episodes for the very final episode of the pack. I'll talk about it a little bit. But I feel like the pack really kind of died off after Age 1, basically. Age 0 and Age 1 were great. Age 2 I enjoyed because I don't mind following this. Age 2 I thought as far as an advancement standpoint was kind of bad because Between Lands, really all you did was, oh look, I went to the Between Lands, I got these things, and I made a controller. Like, get weedwood sticks, make a sword, make the controller, and that was it, you know. And then if you went a step above, you make the journey map token. Aside from that, Cryo wings for the creative jetpack, and that's it. As far as Between Lands, I feel like it could have been integrated a lot better. Age 3, I think the ghast boss could have been integrated in some way. Would have been kind of cool. You know, not something that you're crafting all the time, but, you know, something that you only need to craft like once or twice. Would have been cool to require those tears or those urns of sorrow or, you know, something. You could even do custom loot for the ghast boss so it drops, you know, some stuff. I don't know. Something like that would have been neat. But honestly, from a pack perspective, I think Age 2 was kind of... Start of Age 2 was when I think it kind of fell apart as, like, I lost that immersion feel that Age 0 and Age 1 had. Because the recipes weren't really integrated well. And I think it kind of got worse as the pack went on for me. Because, like, Age 3, I was kind of, like, getting to the point where I'm like, okay, well, I'm kind of ready for this to end. I mean, we were still doing some stuff off-road sort of stuff. It was kind of fun, but for the most part, I was kind of ready to just, okay, that's it, you know. Age 4 was Pneumaticraft, which was fun. I like Pneumaticraft. Of course, by that point, I just couldn't figure out anything to do with drones or anything because it was so late, and we'd already hit so many other things that drones do that it was just kind of like, I don't really have anything left. I don't really have any need for these anymore. And then Age 5 was rough. I know it was rough for you guys. I know I had a lot of people like ready for the pack to end. I was ready for the pack to end. I was ready to move on to the next pack. I feel like there was a lot of places where we were able to like really kind of break the pack through magic mods, through mechanism, through abyssal crafting, good enchanting, you know, different exploration mods, Between Lands alchemy, just different things like that, astral sorcery. So I feel like better integration with the magic mods would have been nice, better integration with the exploration mods would have been nice. And I feel like post like Age 3, like or actually Age 2 really, there wasn't really a whole lot of tweaked recipes. Like if you look at Age 3, I mean that's pretty much all the tweaked recipes. It's just the stuff that they show. And then everything that if you go off-road at all, it's standard, you know. And by the time you hit Age 5, I mean pretty much all this stuff was like standard craft. You know, project miniaturization, you go from, you know, like for example, the Steve's Craft engine. You know, you had to craft it like this originally. Of course, then they give you the really easy recipe. But you first have to craft it like this. And then you go to like compact machines where it's crazy cheap. Of course, I mean, I guess it takes diamonds, which diamonds are supposed to be rare, but we had like 30 stacks of the things since like forever. because of Abyssal Craft and Blood Magic, because the Falling Tower was never really altered. So I feel like there was some big glaring issues with that, with the magic and exploration mods just not being kind of well integrated into the pack and how it was supposed to play out. Because I feel like so much time was focused on the advancements and making that, which really I feel like these two were the best ages. Like, I'm glad I took my time going through these ages, because these were by far, I think, my favorite. And then age 2, like I said, was pretty good, but I wish there was more integration there. So, because that's when you really start getting off-road and going into Astral Sorcery and Between Lands, and you just break everything from then on out. Because we've had, like, God mode weapons and armor. I'm still using this from, like, age 2. You know, all this stuff. So, you get the best pick. Debatably the best sword. I mean, you can technically in H5 you can get something with higher damage, but this has like some really nice boost to it. Plus you can enchant it, which is quite nice. Then you've got this stuff which chills enemies, burns enemies, super speed, flight, that never really get replaced. I mean, even the jetpack with such buggy flight, and the Mantle of Stars is like way faster anyways. So I think there was some big glaring issues there, but we'll talk about it more in the final episode, because we've got a couple base tours we have to look at in the next episode. Then the following episode will be my final base tour of my base, and then talking about the build, things I would do differently, little things like that. Because I'm not 100% happy with all the builds, but that's just natural. I'm like never 100% happy, but it was more of a test build, and we'll talk about it a bit more in the final episode. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. We are 100% done with SevTech. I'm actually done. I've already recorded the other 2 videos, so I'm done at this point. This will be like my final goodbye, my final log out, everything for me. But you guys still have 2 more episodes that'll be coming up. They're shorter. They're not hour-long episodes, but they'll be coming up. So, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button, and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already, to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys then.